Welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video. So today's our CGC 9.8 completed sales and pricing video that we do every week. And I think it's kind of safe to say with this whole COVID-19 thing and the stimulus checks coming into play in the US, I think the CGC 9.8 comic book market has definitely been boosted by the whole situation. And yeah, we got a great full list of key issues and the prices. And more evidence that the prices are boosted for, yeah, a lot of great key issues that we follow here. But, yeah, these videos are all about just staying on top of the pricing market, more information and knowledge on the CGC 9.8 prices. There's way less of a chance you're going to overpay for your CGC 9.8. So, yeah, just more about getting the fair value for all your CGC 9.8s. And, yeah, like I said, some great books sold. Like some books that hardly ever sell too sold in the CGC 9.8. So, yeah, just some great prices to get through. And definitely some evidence that the whole COVID-19 thing is positively affecting CGC 9.8 prices. Yeah, the kind of evidence is clear, I think, at this point. So the full list here, they're all CGC 9.8s. All the prices are in US dollars, and I'll have a full list in the description below. No team books this week as well. I don't believe there was. I may have missed one, so apologies if I did. But message me on Instagram if you're seeing any completed listings or if you bought a book, and I'll try to include it on the video. So first book here, Star Wars #1. Saw one of these sell in an auction just a couple of days ago, and it kind of seems to be heating up with the broader CGC 9.8 market here, I think. So it sold for $1,250. Yeah, Star Wars #1. You know, in the last 6 months to a year, I've really followed the prices on this book, and in auctions, they always kind of went for like $900, sometimes a little bit less than $900, you know, sometimes a little bit over $900. For mine, I paid like $920 something it was, yeah. And mine's a really nice copy, I gotta say, yeah. Visually looks really good too. And really nice white flat pages, yeah, just a perfect copy. So to see this sort of heating up, yeah, just generally I think heating up with the broader CGC 9.8 market, maybe some of the stimulus check money coming into play. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if all these prices sustain themselves. I think that's going to be one of the coolest things over the next couple of months here on these pricing videos. So yeah, subscribe to the channel for sure, because we'll be covering it all in these pricing videos, you know, if these pretty high prices will be sustained. An interesting book, the next one, Incredible Hulk 340 had sold. So one had went in an auction a couple days ago, maybe about a week or two ago actually, and it was like $610 for an Incredible Hulk 340. And I'm sort of used to seeing these go around $400, like $425. That's where I purchased all of mine, in that sort of, yeah, 400 range. Yeah, some just over kind of the 410-ish range. For all, I have 4 of them, Incredible Hulk 340 CGC 9.8. So that one going for $610 in an auction was pretty surprising and kind of a sign of the general market. But one had sold for $475 just in the last couple days here. A really nice looking one too. So, you know, this book I think is maybe some, you know, a bit of some foreshadowing of some of the prices that we could see if you're patient here. Because, yeah, you know, everyone's getting their stimulus checks. A lot of people are home and with nothing better to do but to kind of buy comic books, I guess. So, you know, instead of paying $610 for an Incredible Hulk 340, I think paying $475 for an Incredible Hulk 340. Being patient here, and one did sell, yeah, in the last couple of days. So, you know, there's still some deals out there. So, you know, you're going to want to be patient in this environment, I think. Next book, Batman 412. So an Underfollowed Batman key issue here. It's the first appearance of Mime. So definitely an Underfollowed Batman villain. Batman 412. I was watching this one and almost bid on it. It ended up going for $96.01. And yeah, it going for under 100 kind of makes me wish I did bid on it, probably. It was a really nice looking copy too, in a new case. Yeah, first Mime. Apparently there's a Punchline connection there, possibly, where Mime could be Punchline's mother, possibly. So I think actually this is like for $96, I think someone got a deal there, and this is one that could, you know, heat up in the future with any kind of promotion. And yeah, definitely a cool Underfollowed first appearance to maybe speculate on. Batman 412, first Mime. Alpha Flight 33 had went. This is a cool cover. And a key issue, it's the first Lady Deathstrike that is often overlooked, I would say, but a really cool cover. $77.26 this one went. CGC 9.8 looking really good. I was watching this one too, and this book is another one that I don't have, and yeah, for $77.26, I mean, that's a good price, and I'm almost maybe wishing I might have bid on this one too. It was looking really good too. So Alpha Flight 33, First Lady Deathstrike, another Underfollowed kind of first appearance that's under $100 that you might want to consider for sure. Batman Beyond number 3 sold, and with Batman Beyond number 1, that market is going crazy right now. I think the CGC 9.8 market for Batman Beyond number 1, it's like most of them seem to be going for $650 to $700 now. But a Batman Beyond number 3 is kind of, I think, the coolest cover out of kind of that mini series of first appearance of Batman Beyond. So it went for $140.27, and it's the first appearance of Blight. So kind of Derek Powers becomes all radioactive. He's the green guy. So first full appearance of Blight with the cool Blight cover. Yeah, my favorite cover pretty much. This would probably be my one to get besides number 1. Like, you always want to get the number 1, but kind of my second choice would be this one, even over like First Ink. I just like this cover better. It's less money than the First Ink, which I think is number 6 or 7 or something like that. An Amazing Spider-Man 300 sold. Saw one looking really similar to mine too. A really nice looking one, I think. In a new case, and sold for $2,350. So I think kind of brought 2 big classic key issues here that are kind of expensive in the CGC 9.8, and I was sort of, with this one going for $2,350, sort of used to seeing good prices on an Amazing Spider-Man 300 around $2,000, $1,900, $2,000. You don't see too many go over $2,000. So to see these 2 big key issues really heating up with all the rest of the CGC 9.8s as well, it just seems like almost the whole tide's rising right now, which is, kind of, I think it's really positive. And, I think obviously there's some issues that are doing better than others, but a positive thing to see these big CGC 9.8 key issues, like, Star Wars normally going for about $900 I was used to, selling for $1,250. And this one, normally $1,900-ish, one going for $2,350. So another really popular key issue, Amazing Spider-Man 361, first full appearance of Carnage, classic 90s cover. A bunch of these selling, and a couple of them, 2 of them selling here. Newsstand for $460 and a direct version for $415. So this is already, after that Let There Be Carnage announcement, these had really heated up. A newsstand sold for $600. Yeah, it was $599.99. A newsstand sold, and I was recommending, I made that video like, you want to kind of hold off on buying it for now. And literally just a couple weeks later, a newsstand in an auction coming for $460. That's definitely way closer to a fair price in this environment. So, I think you'd be even a little bit more patient on this, and you look for lulls before the Let There Be Carnage movie in the next 6 months here. Maybe you can even get a newsstand closer to $400, which I got mine for like $405 in an auction like 6 months ago or whatever it was. So maybe about a year ago now, actually. But a great book to have that's already cooling off from those initial announcements. Yeah, you never want to kind of rush out and pay up for a book in like a heavily promoted environment. Next book, Incredible Hulk 449, first appearance of Thunderboltz. It went for $289.99, and that's a pretty decent price. I would say maybe a little bit sort of above fair value, but it wasn't a new case, looking pretty good. So I think occasionally I've saw these kind of go for around $250. But $289.99 is a great 90s first appearance to get, to be honest. Yeah, Incredible Hulk 449. One of the better ones, 1990s first appearances, first Thunderboltz, for $289.99. So Ultimate Fallout number 4. Okay, I saw 3 of these sell, and kind of running the full gauntlet of prices, but 3 of them sold. One was for $550, one was for $560, and one was for $570. So this is a book, 6 months ago we were making videos recommending to buy it, and I sort of purchased mine around that time it was $354 or something like that. So to really just see this one skyrocket in the last 6 months here has been really interesting. And $550, $560, $570, pretty expensive for this book. I did mention, I think it could kind of catch up to an NYX in price, sort of. And kind of knock on, maybe not reach NYX in price, NYX number 3, but certainly kind of knocking on the door a bit. And I think that kind of happened pretty quick. So I think with this one, we're in the stimulus check environment right now. You wait a couple months. Hopefully you get it under 500, I think, is where you kind of want to aim for at this point. Yeah, I wouldn't really look to pay getting up to 600 for this one. It's, a modern book. Even NYX number 3 it's a modern book, made after the year 2000, and even that one to be over 600, I think, is, pushing it a little bit too. So yeah, I always kind of thought that maybe NYX number 3 could come down a bit, Ultimate Fallout 4 could come up a bit, and it seems to be a little bit of what's happening. Although NYX number 3, I think there's still a couple selling for like 750, 800. So that's still really, that has its fans for sure, that book. Next one is Detective Comics 1000. So this is a signature series book too. Decided to kind of throw this in. It's the Crane Virgin Edition. So yeah, I do like Clayton Crane's artwork, and he nails covers, certainly. This one being a Batman cover, his Virgin Edition of Detective 1000, signed, went in an auction for $133.50. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good price for a signed book of this, and these Detective 1000s are really collectible with a really popular artist. In an auction, yeah, I think that's probably near the lower end of what, you could expect to get this type of book, it being signed and everything too. So yeah, really cool cover on this one. Yeah, certainly a wantable book. Yeah, Detective 1000, the Crane variant, the Virgin variant, $133.50. So I did mention books that don't sell very often. I saw one that sold. Batman 423 had sold. And a couple weeks ago, I had mentioned one that had sold for $650, and then saw it today. Batman 423, just I think it was last night maybe, but I did my research, seeing it today. Sold for $650. Yeah, pretty nice looking one. It wasn't perfectly centered. It sort of had some of the front cover on the back, but still nice colors and no pages sticking outside. It was a pretty nice copy, but yeah, $650 are certainly, this is such a wantable book for me. I have 2 of them in the CGC 9.8 and a bunch of raw copies of it as well. So this is, yeah, one that I kind of like. Yeah, I sort of paid around, I think about $450 for both of my Batman 423s. And there's only 98 in the world, I think there was. We did a video a couple days ago on that. So one of 98, $650, Batman 423 in the blue label. Yeah, heating up for sure. I think, maybe if you're patient and, you can expect maybe to get this closer to around $500. Yeah, $650 is a pretty full retail price with sort of my experience in the pricing of this book. An Invincible Iron Man, number 9. First Riri Williams. First Ironheart. Full appearance of Riri Williams. Cool cover on this one too. This is one that I've sort of mentioned, like if you're kind of eyeing lady superheroes, this is one to want. So in an auction, one went for $192.50. And I saw this in an auction go for like $139. Like it was like maybe $140 it went to. So $192.50 seems to be a little bit more expensive, and maybe this is just heating up because all CGC 9.8 seem to be heating up right now with the stimulus check. So yeah, maybe one you could look at getting closer to $150 if you really, really wanted that book. And yeah, that's one that if it kind of popped up from one of my favorite sellers and good shipping to Canada and I could get it for around $150, I would probably pull the trigger. That's a lady first appearance that kind of stands out a little bit more that I would want. Yeah, I really like the cover on it too. So I saw Detective 583. Yeah, I have one of these in the CGC 9.8. A really cool Batman cover, and it's the first appearance of Scarface and the Ventriloquist, which is a really cool Batman villain, super psychotic. Carries around the Scarface gangster dummy, the Ventriloquist guy. This one sold for $215, and I believe there's less than 100 of these on the census, so, one of those late 80s Batman books of an underfollowed villain that, has some potential. Yeah, I bought mine, it was about $250 too, so $215. I had noticed these. I think I saw one go for $199.99 before. So I maybe kind of paid up for mine at $250. Although mine looks perfect. Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I did purchase mine. It just had that eye appeal, perfect colors, perfect centering. But yeah, Detective 583. If you're into kind of underfollowed Batman villains, this I am, and I have this. So yeah, definitely wantable. Detective Comics 583. First Scarface and the Ventriloquist. Secret Wars number 8 had sold. This is one for me that in the whole land of, black costume books and Venom books of that era of the 80s, This one seems to not be very, like, there's the CGC 9.8 ratio isn't very low, so in the 9.8 it's not that rare. This is the one that I don't have. It's just one, I'd much rather, I have 2 Amazing Spider-Man 252s. I'd much rather have a Marvel Team Up 141. I'd even rather have like an Amazing Spider-Man 316 over this book. Just because, yeah, Secret Wars number 8, and I think it's kind of showing in this environment, like, maybe this should be heating up more, but $249.95 is kind of like the average normal price that I'm used to in the last year on this book. So, I don't really think this book's heating up, and I think it's just because it almost stands out in a negative way. When you look at the CGC 9.8 ratio is really pretty high. And then, if you look at high books of that era, higher CGC 9.8 ratios, Amazing Spider-Man 316 comes to mind, that awesome Venom cover. And I think that's a way cooler cover if you put them kind of head to head. So I know probably Secret Wars 8 fans are just going to be hating me right now, but one that I've sort of laid off of, and I'm not seeing like the price increase as some of these other books that have lower CGC 9.8 ratios, like Hulk 340, Batman 423, Amazing Spider-Man 252. And yeah, even Amazing Spider-Man 316, I think it's kind of really hard to get that under 300 now. So I think that one's even heating up more. And yeah, maybe Secret Wars, cool cover, maybe you're nostalgic for it and you still want it. I completely understand that. But if you're coming at it from an investment perspective, it might be one to skip, to be honest. Yeah, although a cool cover, but just trying to, make some tough investment decisions here, maybe. I saw an Avengers 144 sell, and this is a really cool one. First, Hellcat, Patsy Walker. And she's got a lot of, potential, I think, just possibly being in some maybe future MCU movies, but just in general, a cool Underfollowed character as well. In the CGC 9.8, really nice one, went for $1,050. Yeah, and I think I saw this book dip below 1,000 in the CGC 9.8s, and I said, like, wow, that's a really good price. But yeah, around $1,000 for this book. It's, yeah, into the 70s on this one, so you get a first appearance in the 70s around 1,000. That's a pretty cool one to get. Next one is a really cool one in that vein as well. Black Panther #1. Yeah, Jack Kirby art and cover. So classic, this one. This is a book I think now, because we're in between the Black Panther movies. When Black Panther 2 comes out, this one will probably really heat up. And it's so wantable. Yeah, so one in the CGC 9.8 white pages, looking great. Went for $749.99. Yeah, and I think, maybe you're a little bit more patient on that book and you can get it maybe in the 600s. If you really like Black Panther, I think this is kind of the time to buy for Black Panther. And then, obviously, that MCU movie will be coming out in the next couple of years here. Wolverine Limited Series. Saw one sell, CGC 9.8 Wolverine Limited Series Direct Edition for $350. And a couple of these had went for $400, with this whole Frank Miller signing event. So to see one go for $350, I think is more of a fair value during this time, with this book kind of heating up with everything, and plus the Frank Miller signing. I saw a Wolverine #8 sell in an auction too. These are always kind of cool to see in an auction. Sometimes they go for kind of low, but every now and then, like, a bidding war breaks out on this because it is just a really cool wanted book. Kind of that blue cover with Wolverine and Hulk on the cover. Yeah, Wolverine #8, $148.50. This one for in an auction, CGC 9.8 white pages. That's pretty decent price. Yeah, you know what? I've seen them go for like $120-ish before, but this is a classic book that I think if you get it from anywhere from $125 to $150 is a really good deal. Wolverine #8, yeah, one I'd recommend too in that price range. Batman 442 I saw sell. This is kind of a pretty cheap Batman issue, but if you like the cover, it's kind of a cool one to have. I do not have this one, and certainly one I've thought of grabbing, but just kind of went for sort of Batman 436, the first appearance of Tim Drake. I sort of like a little bit better, but Batman 442, first Tim Drake in the Robin costume with the cool George Perez cover. $56 in an auction, in the blue label this went for. And yeah, I always see this in sort of auctions, and it's like $50 or $60, and I'm like, wow, could be one to want for sure at that price. But it is just from that era of Batmans where they really were well printed, as were a lot of the Marvel books during this time as well. Really started to ramp up the printing, but yeah, for $56, a perfect 9.8 copy, kind of in a sweet case, I still think a sweet deal if you're a Batman fan. So I saw a Spawn 301 in signed by McFarlane sell in an auction. I think this is kind of a cool one to have because like Spawn 301 is the sort of record-breaking issue where it's like the most issues, the longest running issue of an independent comic, I think it was, or something like that. So kind of, and this was the homaged version of Amazing Spider-Man 301. So kind of just a cool collector item, I think, this one. Signed by McFarlane, CGC 9.8. $113.49 it went for in an auction. And I think that's, I saw this in a Blue Label go for like 60-ish, 60, 70 bucks. So yeah, signed by McFarlane, $113.49. I think that's a pretty good price for a cool collector item like that. So I saw these Punchline first appearances sell in an auction. So we got both of those books. Batman 89, the first Punchline cameo, that one went for $122.50. And the Year the Villain Hell Risen #3, that's the first full Punchline, went for $118.50. So both of these covers I think are looking really cool. But this is a good example of, 2 months ago, everyone was all about Punchline, and these were selling for about $175, $185. I think maybe someone paid up $200 for them. That promotion's not going to last forever. You're patient, you wait 2 months. You get it for $122.50 and $118.50. So yeah, just another example of some of the promotional things that we talk about. Try to be a little strategic and patient. So last book here on the list, and of a great list, yeah, some great prices. I saw Savage She-Hulk #1 sell in an auction. Good looking one too. It was a newsstand version, kind of newsstand and directs. It almost doesn't matter at this stage. I think the directs are even more rare, to be honest. But a Savage She-Hulk #1 CGC 9.8 white pages went for $425. And yeah, so this is a book that we talk about quite a bit, and it was one after that announcement that there was going to be a She-Hulk Disney Plus series about 6 months ago. This book blew up to $550, and I remember that pricing video. There was like 5 or 10 of them that went for like $550, $575. And I was mentioning like, hey, you might want to be patient here on this one, and yeah, we're about 6 months after that, maybe even longer, and it's kind of back around $400 to $425. Every now and then I see one dip under $400, but maybe with the whole stimulus check thing and how the market's really hot right now, about $425 is fair for Savage She-Hulk. So yeah, I mean, considering we're in a bit of a lull until that She-Hulk series comes out on Disney Plus, I think if you want a Savage She-Hulk #1, around $400, I think is the price to aim for. This is one I've mentioned for, I believe it's a 1980s book, maybe even a 79 book, I kind of forget exactly, but the CGC 9.8 ratio is pretty high, so it's not rare in the CGC 9.8 for a book of its age. So yeah, I personally have said in the past, like I wouldn't pay over $400 for this book, but maybe even $375, $350 if you're kind of like me and like a value-oriented buyer on this book. But yeah, if you love Savage She-Hulk, this still could probably, like, what's $25? You can probably just jump in there at around $400 to $425. Alright, that's the full list of CGC 9.8 comic books to get through. Yeah, you know what? Seen some big key issues go for pretty good money. Those Ultimate Fallout 4s are still holding up. Yeah, I maybe even expected by now for there to be a bit of a lull in that book. But $550, $560, $570. Not lulling out. Amazing Spider-Man 361, sort of a book I said to be patient on and wait for lulls, I think is already kind of lulling after that. Let There Be Carnage, the movie. And then, great to see some big key issues like Star Wars, Amazing Spider-Man 300, Batman 423, even going for like pretty big prices. Yeah, like close to like, I would say, pretty all-time high prices, yeah. For Star Wars, $1,250 in the CGC 9.8, and yeah, $2,350 in for Amazing Spider-Man 300, and Batman 423 sold for $650. So yeah, the full list of all the prices and the issues will be in the description below. But thanks so much for watching today. If you haven't already, I invite you to join the team and subscribe to Team CGC 9.8. Yeah, I'd love to have you on our comic book collecting, comic book investing team. Hit the bell to get all the latest notifications. And add me on Instagram and Twitter as well. Yeah, all the links in the description below too. Thanks so much for watching today. Yeah, I love these pricing videos. You get a good feeling after you just kind of have some information and you know the prices and you're right on top of the prices. So definitely gives you more power when you're buying these CGC 9.8 comic books. Yeah, you definitely know not to overpay way more. And yeah, I know that they've helped me certainly. And yeah, definitely subscribe because it's going to be interesting in the next couple weeks here. with COVID-19. Are these, big prices, these high prices, are they going to hold? Is Ultimate Fallout 4 going to stay over 500? So yeah, it's going to be interesting in the next couple months here. So thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or you want to message me, you can message me on Instagram. That's probably the best way to kind of get a hold of me. Thanks again, though. I'll see everyone on the next one.